Now that the Stalker variant of infected have made an appearance in the Last of Us series, let's talk about the different stages of infection when it comes to Cordyceps. It does work a bit differently in the game than it does in the show, and I'll explain how later in the video. But for now, what you need to know is there are 4 stages of typical infection. I say typical because there are a couple variants that do pop up under the right environmental circumstances. Stage 1 is Runner, Stage 2 is Stalker, Stage 3 is Clicker, and Stage 4 is Bloater. Runner is the first stage and is typically somebody who is more freshly infected. Now, because the Cordyceps hasn't progressed enough to overtake their body completely like you see in the later stages of infection, you might see some, but you will see less growth and sprouting coming from their body. And they're called runners because, surprise, they just run straight at you. No real complicated tactics. They see you standing around uninfected, they want to fix that. Stage 2 are Stalkers. Now, because Stalkers are typically people who have been infected longer, the Cordyceps has taken a deeper root in their body, so you'll notice a lot more growths coming out of them. Pretty nasty to look at, I won't lie. But not as much as the Clickers, though, so they still have their full eyesight available. Now, I don't believe this is ever directly stated in the game, but personally, my headcanon has always been that because they've been infected longer and the Cordyceps has a much deeper root in them, they're able to utilize more complex tactics than the Runners, because the Cordyceps has more complete control of their nervous system. This stage of infected move a little more intelligently. Rather than just charge straight at you, they will wait for the best opportunity to sneak up on you. Because of this, they tend to sneak around, make less noise, and they don't directly confront you and instead try to flank you. Based off of Ellie and the town's reaction to her coming across a Stalker, it seems like in the show, rather than just being a certain stage in the infection process, either an extremely rare variant that they just never so happen to come across, or it's a brand new variant and it's a sign that the Cordyceps fungus is evolving and creating new types of infected. Probably explain more later, but they appeared in the first game, which is what the first season follows, so them not even knowing what it is in the second season is definitely a change in the way it works. And you have the Clickers who have been infected for so long that the Cordyceps in their brain is just sprouting right out of them. They're no longer able to see because of this, so now they use echolocation, which is what that clicking sound that they make is. Also, I don't remember if they translated this into the show, but in the games, Clickers tend to be a little bit harder to take down because the Cordyceps that's coming out of their body forms like a little bit of a protective layer. So while you can hide from a regular infected, when it comes to Clickers, you breathe a little too heavy and they're on you and they're a little bit tougher to handle. And then we have stage 4, which is the Bloaters. Now, typically, from what I understand, people don't usually become bloaters. Now, these are particularly rare because you have to be infected for a pretty long time to reach this stage, and also the Cordyceps can end somebody before they make it this far. Only particularly strong people who have been infected for a significant period of time can make it to the bloater stage. They function a lot like Clickers in that they can't see and they have to find you by hearing where you are. But their infection has progressed so far that they are completely covered in Cordyceps, which is now acting like a layer of armor over their bodies, making them way tougher to take care of. And the combination of them needing to be pretty strong to make it this far, plus I'll be honest, I do think the Cordyceps makes them kind of stronger. In the game, because spores were a thing, bloaters were able to rip off like chunks of spores and throw them at you. Since spores haven't made an appearance in the show so far, it seems like that ability is just completely removed. But they've been buffed up significantly because I think they're pretty strong as hell in the show compared to the game. Like I said earlier, there are some variants that only exist under specific circumstances, but this video is already pretty long, so if you want to hear more about that, let me know.